board meeting into order. I've asked Chris Lafferty to give our prayer, and while we're getting prepared, if you'll take your cell phones, turn them to silent. We'll stand for our prayer, followed by the pledge.
Let's pray. Lord, I just thank you for the wonderful day that you've given us, Lord, and I just thank you for the opportunity to live in a country that we can conduct business for the people the way that we do, Lord. And I just pray for our wisdom today, for you to grant us wisdom and guidance today, Lord. And I just pray that you'll let the words of our mouth and the meditation of our heart be pleasing to you, Lord. Just be with our service members that are defending freedom around the globe, Lord. And I just pray that you'll protect them and protect our first responders here locally. In your name I pray.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Lafferty. Takes us to number 4. I need approval of agenda even date.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Mr. President, I need to remove item number 7 from the agenda. Mr. Brady said he does not have anything today.
All right. Motion to amend.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Back to approving the agenda. Had a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, that will take us to number 5, approval of minutes dated September 3rd and September 9th, budget, September 12th, budget, and work session. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. That will take us to number 6, Sheriff Billy Solid.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
I hope this meeting is as short as my agenda. I have one item on the agenda, and that's personnel matters. And you have a list in there of personnel that have recently been hired or no longer associated with the Lauder County Sheriff's Department.
So moved.
Second. Sorry, I have a motion and
It's not necessary. No, is it I was including you.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's all right.
But that's all I have on my agenda unless the board has any questions or concerns.
Gentlemen, anything for our sheriff?
How you feeling? Legs okay?
I'm finally able to walk, sir. You know, I appreciate you representing the Board of Supervisors last Wednesday. You did an outstanding job. I think
Was you able to succeed and complete?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
He was an overachiever. Without
best
oxygen.
around.
Yeah, I went one more flight just to be sure. Next year I'm going to be looking for y'all.
I would encourage you other 4 gentlemen to show up next year. It's one foot in front of the other.
And congratulations to the Sheriff's Department.
He didn't break our sweat. I'm gonna delegate him to do mine too.
And congratulations to the Sheriff's Department won the
First responder competition.
Yeah.
We had 4 members of our department as a team took the trophy. It's kind of like the Egg Bowl trophy. So next year at the same time, we'll allow other first responders to have a team and try to take that trophy away from us. Just knew I mentioned that shirt. I'd just like to remind the general public that this Saturday there's going to be a benefit shoot at the Sand Flat Training Facility starting at about 7:30 that morning. If you're a non-shooter, you can still show up, buy T-shirts, food, and buy raffle tickets for some outstanding prizes. So again, I'd like to encourage everybody to come out. You guys have done a great job with the weather. I think it's supposed to end at about 65 degrees Friday night, so the temperature should be wonderful. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Okay. We've taken number 7 off the agenda. Takes us to number 8, Rush Mayette, County Road Manager.
Morning, Board. I need to amend my agenda. I need to add approval to work off right-of-way at 6069 Cricket Road. About a month ago, I come to y'all requesting approval to work off right-of-way off of Highway 19 North to remove some large trees that had fallen into a creek there in between Cricket Road and Highway 19 North. After looking at it further, we definitely can't bring them out that way. We're going to have to come out on Cricket Road, and I need to swap that up if that's possible.
Motion to amend?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. All right, Rush.
First item, needing approval to hire Sean Smith at a rate of $10.13 an hour to replace Clifton Hines at Satellite B.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion?
And this is not full-time, this is the part-time position.
Yes, this is
For the-
part-time, coming out of our garbage fund. We're still under hiring freeze due to election.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Second item, needing approval to work off right-of-way at 6069 Cricket Road.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
And that's all I have on my agenda unless y'all have some.
Gentlemen? All right, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, that will take us to number 9 on our agenda, staff reports. We'll start with Ms. Carolyn Mooney. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. My first item, I would like to submit in the minutes the public notice advising of the date and time of this meeting pursuant to Section 254113 Mississippi Code of 1972. My next item, I need board approval for the second claims docket for the month of September and authorize the clerk to issue the warrants.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion passes. Ms. Mooney?
Okay. My next item, I need to include into the minutes certification from Sheriff Solly that 18,793 meals were served in the Lauderdale County Detention Facility during the month of August, and to authorize the board president to sign the necessary paperwork.
Do I have a motion? So moved. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
My last item, I need board approval for 11 oath of office, please.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Mr. President, that concludes my agenda.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Mooney. Any questions for Ms. Mooney? All right. That will take us to County Administrator Chris Lafferty.
Good morning, Mr. Board, Mr. President, Board. As you'll see, my agenda is rather lengthy, but it's just, most of it's the end-of-year business that we do. So we'll get through these. My first item, I need approval to execute application for certification of one meal to the Department of Revenue for maintaining mapping for fiscal year 1920.
So moved.
A motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval for Linda Posey to disburse actual funds to Lauderdale County Health Insurance Fund 004 for FY 2020.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval to transfer from Fund 200 combined geodebt to proper debt service funds as budgeted in FY 2020.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval for Linda Posey to transfer monthly from the Economic Industry and Recreation Fund 138 to the Debt Service Fund 250 Certainty Cap Loan for the county's half of the loan payment as budgeted in FY 2020.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval for Linda Posey to transfer monthly or as needed from the general fund to E911 fund not to exceed the annual amount approved in FY 2020 budget.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval for the petty cash bank account to maintain a balance of $5,000 as previously established. Expenditures not to exceed $50,000 for FY 20. All expenditures are budgeted in the appropriate funds that reimburse the petty cash account.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval to repay a portion of the advance from general fund to Fund 340, the library property, in the amount of $90,000.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Need approval, number 8, I need approval to transfer from the general fund to other special revenue funds. You see the first one there is to the occupation protection grant, which is $2,801.01, and then the DUI grant, which is $4,000.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval to advance $20,000 from the general fund to the DUI grant fund until grant funds are received.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval for Cheryl Polk to attend the Governmental Accounting, Financial Reporting, and Auditing Update by the State Audit Office, October 23rd through 24th in Jackson. Expenses, registration, hotel, mileage of the county vehicle, not available funds are in the budget.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval to hire Dinko Auction Company of Mississippi Incorporated for FY20. Dinko meets the standards established by the State Department of Audit.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Mr. Todd. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval to hire Trax Plus LLC for FY20. Trax Plus meets the standards established by the State Department of Audit.
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval to hire GovDeals.com for FY20. GovDeals meets the standards established by the State Department of Audit.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval for Linda Posey to transfer from Fund 200 combined GO debt to proper debt service funds that exceed budgeted amounts for FY20 due to an increase in fiscal agent fees.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next comes from our permit department. We need approval for the base flood elevation and floodways for the following: Burwell Creek, Hognose Creek, Hognose Tributary 1, Hognose Tributary 2, and Little Creek.
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval to add as assistant receiving clerk Odie Barrett and to be bonded accordingly as replacing John Hughes.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval to accept Eagle Construction as the lowest and best quote in the amount of $6,400 for asbestos abatement in the old Firestone building.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Number 18, I need approval for Ward Calhoun and Kristen Shepherd to be reimbursed mileage for attending the Maintaining a Healthy Records Program, Managing Electronic Records, September 26th in Jackson.
Do I have
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval for Tracy Stockton to attend the Tax Collector 2 School, October 14th through the 18th in Biloxi. Travel includes registration, hotel, per diem, and travel in a county vehicle.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval to hire Ms. Stephanie Jackson as the Lauderdale County Purchasing Clerk at $37,500 a year.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second? I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval to accept Cooper Concrete as the lowest and best bid for the animal control project in the amount of $500,000 $196,000. Perfect Touch, they were unable to get bonded for that job.
So moved. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
You see, my item number 22 here is fairly lengthy, and I'll talk it before we ease into it. This is the MSU Extension 4-H building that's being built up at the Ag Center. We're nearing the end of the project. There's a couple change orders. The first couple on here are basically just adding some days to the contracts, and then there was some unforeseen changes that had to be addressed, like one for McLean Plumbing. They had to move some exhaust duct that they didn't know was there until they started ripping stuff down. Some D&E had to do some water sealing around the building. They added a 4-foot chain link gate on the east side of it, and you see here for $3,082 they had to do some spray foam insulation. Everybody assumed that the whole roof was insulated, but there was no insulation under the old storage building that's now the area where the classroom is at and stuff, so they had to come back in and do some spraying there. The total change orders are $6,092.62, but there was a $20,000 built-in contingency with the project, so in the end, your net decrease of the total D&E contract is $13,909.38. So there's not any additional unforeseen charges, or let's say there are unforeseen charges, but as far as money, extra money, that money was built into their $20,000 contingency.
Do I have a motion?
Well, we'll have to run through them, but
Okay.
I thought I could explain it better if I just talked through it first.
Okay, do you want to do these individually, or do we want to just read through them all?
Can they just vote on the whole lot?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So I need to ratify and approve the below change orders that were signed by the board president. You see them all listed there.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval of the following inventory list per Kim Pope, the inventory deletions, and then the inventory deletion list for the weed eaters, trimmers, and chainsaws that are 4 years old and older.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
And, Mr. President, that concludes my...
All right, anything for our county administrator?
Good thing those other ones were short.
Yeah.
You took up the rest of that.
I'm telling you.
That will take us to our board attorney, Mr. Lee Thaggart. President, board, good morning.
Good morning, Joe.
First, I'm going to ask you to consider a motion to approve a second amendment to the professional services agreement dated September 1, 2015, with the appraisers relative to the multi-year encroachment protection program, and that's to extend the contract term to September 30, 2024.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'm sorry. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, ask you to consider a resolution authorizing the execution of an amendment to the contract for the use of the county's jail by the town of Marion to extend the contract term to September 30, 2020. All the other terms will remain the same.
Do I have a motion? So moved. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion?
So just for discussion purposes, we did confer with the sheriff's department on that, and they're agreeable to that item as well as that.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Item 3, similarly, ask you to consider a resolution authorizing an amendment to the contract for the use of the county's jail by the city of Meridian, Mississippi, and that's to extend the contract term to September 30, 2020.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Item 4 will take it just as one. I'm going to ask you to consider a motion authorizing the execution of a purchase agreement with each of the following persons and entities. That's for the purchase of a restricted easement as a part of the multi-year encroachment protection program, and further authorizing the
board president to take all actions and to execute all documents necessary to close those transactions on or before September 30, 2019. Those transactions will be with Clayton Land and Timber LLC, Charlotte Kimbrough, Edna Faye Clayton Hatcher, and Morgan Land Investments LP.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Whichever.
Let Mr. Newell go first. This is
Okay. Have a motion by Mr. Newell and a second by Mr. Todd. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
And next, I'm going to ask Russ, do you mind coming back up? I was distracted a little bit when we were on his agenda earlier on the amended item, and there was one of the items, I stepped down a minute ago to confirm that on the work off the right-of-way, that it did meet some of the statutory requirements. So I asked him to revisit that to make sure those statutory requirements are included in the minutes.
So I was needing approval to work off right-of-way at 6069 Cricket Road. This work is needed to correct drainage issues that will help preserve and maintain the county roads and right-of-way, and will promote the health, comfort, and convenience of the inhabitants of Lauderdale County.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you for keeping us straight on that, sir.
Subject to your questions, that concludes the legal agenda. I will ask you to consider the need for executive session at the end of the meeting.
All right. Anything for Mr. Thacker? That will take us to number 10, other matters for general good and welfare. This is where we open the podium up to members of the audience that would like to approach and address the board. Is there anybody in the audience at this time that would like to approach the board for other matters for general good and welfare at this time?
Yes, there is.
Sir, if you'll state your name and address.
Melvin Moore.
James M. Moore, 4090 Henry Boswell Road, District 5, Lauderdale County, Mississippi. The district with most road miles, I think. Yeah, two to each.
All right, we can
Two
handle that.
copies.
We can handle that. Pay him to say that.
That's why he didn't say that.
No, I was waiting for it.
That was too.
What? Something about the best or something. I was asking Kyle how much he paid you to say about
That's
those.
a private matter.
Uh,
The same amount I got paid by Clark Wilson Jr. for judging him the winner of the barbecue contest this weekend. I asked him for his receipt from Shaq's.
You just got free food.
Yeah, from 4 or 5 different people. Okay, I'll be brief. I don't come here as often as I should. First of all, I'm here wearing the EMCC hat, not the ADSI hat this morning. Certainly I'll entertain any questions you have about ADSI. But I just wanted, as I promised you before, periodically give you an update that you may or may not be familiar with certain things about East Mississippi Community College. And I'm not going to talk about football. Not because we lost the first game and we're now 2-1, but because we do a lot more than play football, despite some popular opinion. The first sheet you have with the pictures on it, just as it says, is recent highlights, expanded offerings, social science and welding, and a lot of people forget about mortuary science. We're the first program in the state of Mississippi to teach that, still do. Ophthalmic dispensing, the young lady at the top left is doing that, making eyeglass lenses. Forestry, utility lineman, and a 2-year associate's degree in welding, which I said at first. We had a 1-year program, we've added the 2nd year due to demand. One thing about the utility lineman program, we work hand in glove with EMEPA. They support it totally, as well as a lot of private contractors in the state of Mississippi. Doyle Perkins is one of the 2 instructors. He used to work at EMEPA. I talked to him last Thursday night just to get a handle on it. This year he had 71 people interested in the program. He can take 15. That gives you an idea of the demand for utility linemen that come through our program at East Mississippi. He's planning to enlarge it, not necessarily be able to take more students, but enlarge the facility that we have so he can do what he calls on-ground training, instead of being up on the pole, having the conductive lines and cross members and the transformers all on the ground at ground level to feel, touch, do before you climb that pole. Even though we have bucket trucks, I talked to them at length, there's still a great demand for people that actually can climb a pole and do the work. I'm having trouble with my glasses focusing. Bobbing program, that's on the northern campus, Golden Triangle. Small engine repair technology, travel and tourism technology, and baking and pastry arts technology. That's at the Lion Hills campus. We restarted the paramedic program. As it says, it's a 2-year hiatus. Allied Health remains a focus for both campuses. I talked to our director of nursing, which the RN LPN programs on the Golden Triangle campus. She's originally from Meridian. Our nursing programs have a 100% job placement rate. That is significant to me. Everybody that goes through the program and passes the national exam goes to work. In 2018, the RN program had a 100% passage rate on the national exam. The LPN program had 92% passage rate. And both of those percentage numbers are above the national average for RN and LPN programs. I'm not at liberty to discuss which programs, but we're in the process now of adding, hopefully in the near future, some allied health programs on the main campus in Scuba. Work has been done on that so far, and it continues, so we'll be in a position to do that as soon as we get all the T's crossed and the I's dotted. Science lab, that's on here simply because we just did a complete revamp of our science lab. New equipment, smart boards, I have no clue what that is, and combination desk lab stations. The community, we talk about these days, the community is basically 90 miles, 95 miles removed from Meridian. That is the new Workforce Technology Center we built between Starkville and Columbus, $46 million building that is training people to go to work in high-tech jobs in industry. If you're ever in that area, I invite you. But in a regional approach, like we talk about a regional approach for economic development, that's not too far for some student that wants to go and be trained in one of these jobs to go to work in the industry that's in that area. I have 13 seconds. The other handout is where we were nominated again in the top 10 for smart asset, one of the best community colleges out of 796 nationwide. Had the second highest graduation transfer rate in this past year's study. So I stand here before you today just to tell you we do a lot of things other than play sports. There are some people who say, well, yeah, you get those tremendous athletes there to win national championships in football and you give them grades so they can play football for you. Untrue. I don't think I said this. If I did, I apologize for being redundant. Last year, I talked to Abby Jenkins, the counselor that deals primarily with athletes. Last year's football players, sophomores, 100% of the sophomore athletes were Division I academically eligible. They were not that late when they came to East Mississippi. They were when they left. So if they had wanted to go, and if they were good enough athletically to be signed to an additional scholarship, they had no problem in transfer. So, that's my report. Short, quick. My time is up. If you have questions, I'll try to answer them. If you don't, I thank you and hope you have a great week.
As our board representative, we extended you a little bit of time.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
Any questions for Mr. Moore?
Just a comment. I certainly appreciate the update, always.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I just wish I could do it more often, but some of you are old enough to remember Stretch Armstrong, some of you are not the Stretch Armstrong doll. That's kind of the way my life goes, like you do, get pulled different directions. But I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to approach the board at this time? All right. Seeing no one and seeing no movement, I will move to number 11, actions from supervisors. I'll start to my left, Mr. Newell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have one thing this morning. I certainly want to thank the people that have called, text, sent cards, stopped me on the street to give me their condolences in the family's loss of mother. And, you know, I told Jonathan this morning, I said, the cliche, if you have a mother, let me back up. If you have a father and you lose your father, that's one thing. But when you lose mother, that's a whole different ballgame. And if you have a mother, tell her you love her today.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Todd.
I know I've said it a couple of times before, but, you know, to Mr. Newell, the love and dedication that you showed to your mama is something I respect and look up to. And being at that funeral and seeing how she was a mother to not only her biological kids, but to, it seems like many, many others. I didn't hear anyone say anything negative about it other than she had her heart was probably too big for her, but you're a great testament to what your mother stood for, what she did in life, and it showed with your, again, your love and dedication to your mama. I was actually talking to a lady that knows you very well. She said that, oh, I love Mr. Newell. He would bring his mama breakfast every morning, and us too. And she said we all gained about 5 or 10 pounds while she was there, but and she said we would even tell him, it's okay, we got her. And he said, no, that's my mama, and I'm going by there. And they said, you never missed a day. So, again, I respect that, look up to that, and I think you, I know you made your mother proud, there's no doubt about that, but, you know, that's something we can all look up to, what you did for your mother. So, and you know, our condolences, of course, and our prayers are still with you and your family, but I think you made your mother very, very proud.
Thank you. Mr. Newell.
Mr. Newell, just make all of you and your family our condolences on the loss of your mother. Thank you.
Mr. Rutledge.
Kind of echo what Mr. Todd said. That's one thing my wife says. I hope our kids are half as dedicated as Mr. Newell was to his mother, and also still remember all the losses we had last week in rough multiple communities. That's all.
And I'll echo what these gentlemen said. Just a great example. Her and you. All right. If there's nothing else to bring before the board at this time, I will consider a motion for the need of an executive session.
So moved.
Have a motion by Mr. Todd. If you'll excuse us, please, we'll determine the need.
It's a whole lot.
All right, the board did go into executive session, discuss several matters, the transaction of business, discussions, and negotiations for the potential location of a business or industry in Lauderdale County, potential purchase or lease of real property, and also personnel matter change to the purchase clerk, and no action was taken.
Okay. Takes us to item number 12. If there's no other business to bring before the board, on the second, recess. All right. I will take a motion to recess until Tuesday, September 24th, 2019 at 9 o'clock.
So moved.
Have a motion, to have a second?
Second.
Have a second, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We're recessed.